Recording live from the Hickory Hut studio on the campus of Defiance College, this is The Session with Billy and Ryan.
Today is April 6th, Thursday. We are back in the Hickory Hut studios.
We're back.
We are back. Guess who's back? Back again.
Is that a song?
The Session's back. Tell a friend. Yeah, Eminem. Get used to it. Come on, Ryan. Hey, with my co-host Ryan Imbrock, Jake Atkins. We are missing Marissa and Holly today, but that is all right. We will hopefully get them back next Tuesday.
Hopefully.
But special guest today, we have Alex Frick with talking about the communications major here at Defiance College.
Yeah!
Hello.
Frick, thank you for being on the show today.
It's my pleasure.
If you guys don't know, everyone calls him Frick around campus. That is his last name. But
Are you a part of Frickers?
I wish.
You wish?
He would be a billionaire at this point.
A billionaire?
Billion.
A millionaire, maybe.
No, maybe a billionaire.
Really?
I believe so.
Okay. Trillionaire.
Trillionaire. Oh, look at that. He's stepping it
that.
up. So, Alex, you're a senior here at Defiance College with the communications major that you're studying and going to be graduating this upcoming May.
Mm-hmm.
And you are part of the Defiance College football team as well.
I was.
So, going towards the academic side of things, why did you pick a communications major?
Well, originally I was a integrated social studies major till about this time my sophomore year, and had a long, hard conversation with myself, and I didn't see myself being happy teaching for the rest of my life, so I wanted to go into something that was a little bit more open and broad and really could be more creative, and that's why I picked the communication studies.
So is that a little bit scary for you to have to make that change as a sophomore?
Oh, absolutely. I officially switched going into that summer, and I was working, and all these different people I was working at a factory at the time, were coming up to me saying, "So what's your major? What are you going to do?" And I was like, "That's a great question. I have no idea."
Well, hey, I mean, you know what? Sometimes, you see people at other colleges and here as well that will change it 2, 3, 4 times possibly. But absolutely. I mean, once you find what you really want to do after you graduate, you'll never work a day in your life, is what everyone says. So
right. Absolutely, if you can find a job you love, yeah, that's right. You never work a day in your life.
Yeah, exactly. So, what are you trying to do with your communications major?
The ultimate goal is to work social media for a major sports team. Obviously, growing up in Indiana, it'd be amazing to work for the Colts one day. But
of course.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I've applied to jobs in this area. I've applied for starting off with internships for the Green Bay Packers and the Browns, the Bengals, and I mean, obviously, I love football, but I've applied for all sorts of different sports.
Yeah.
Minor league teams down in Louisville, Indianapolis, up in Michigan.
So kind of just sporadically everywhere, but hey, you know what? That's how you get your name out, and definitely trying to start somewhere. Everyone has to start somewhere.
Are you going to graduate in 4 years still?
I am. I'm set to graduate May 6th.
Well, good for you. Mm-hmm. Good for you. I mean, because sometimes when you switch, you got to go one more year or something
right.
And to do it in 4, that's impressive.
It was definitely really tough. I was overloaded my courses the last 3 semesters.
Oh wow!
So I had a lot of catching up to do, but
you did it.
It's definitely worth it. Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, as some people may know, you do YouTube videos now.
I do.
For vlogs, which are just daily video blogs that he does, and which I think is awesome, which you can put 2 and 2 together with your communications major and be able to do something like that. Why did you start doing those vlogs?
Well, my girlfriend and I were talking one night, and she's like, I really wish I could scrapbook, but I don't have the time. I don't want to go out and buy all the materials and stuff. So she decided to start a blog, and it was just a way that she could keep all of her memories on just online. So it's always there, and
right.
It's really easy to access and really easy to add to. So I was like, yeah, it's a good idea. So I started blogging. After about 2 entries, I was like, this isn't me. I have a hard time. I procrastinate like no other on school papers. So I decided, I'm going to start making videos, and it was just an easy way to kind of get memories out there. I started off, actually it was for a class for one of my comm classes. I made a day in the life for a Bluffton game. And then it just kind of started evolving into more of a hobby. I made a video for my brother's graduation party, and I strapped a GoPro on my dog, and that was a big hit. Just like Billy said, it started turning into like a daily vlog, and I used to do it just for like big occasions, like a graduation party or going to Cedar Point. But I just really like making videos, so it just kind of turned into something that I do almost daily now.
Yeah,
almost daily. How do you find the time sometimes?
It's just kind of for the love of it. I love being creative, finding new music, new editing skills. I like trying to raise the bar every time I start making a movie.
Sounds like he's on the session 2 years too late.
Yeah, right. Well, that's all right. Did you have anything to say, Jake?
Well, we talked a lot about the stuff you do outside of the class, but for those who don't really have an idea of what the communication studies major entails, like what was like your favorite class you got to take in the last 2 years?
Ooh, you stumped him.
That's tough. I can't think of the exact name, but I took a class last year with Professor Seminar, who is one of the new comm professors, and it was a very unique class where we met once a week for 2.5 hours, and there was 4 or 5 students in there. So all we did, he would assign about like 30 pages of academic journals and whatnot, and it was very rigorous in reading, but we would just sit and talk for 2.5 hours. And we also got an opportunity to make our own apps in that class.
Well, that's pretty cool.
That sounds awesome.
They were super basic, but just the programming and whatnot, it was a great experience. Cool. Yeah.
So is that what got you hooked on that kind of media?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, talking post-graduation and looking for jobs and everything, you said you want to go work for a sports organization. What would that entail for in a job position you would like to have?
It would be like just running the social media pages, doing video editing, making promos, and stuff like that. I found that getting ahead of the game and applying for the jobs when the season ends, so the NHL season and the NBA season's coming to a close, that's the time to kind of jump on board because that's when people are moving. It's also a time to that they will hire interns to make promos for the next year.
Well, that's awesome.
So what's the one tip you can give people to handle the haters? You got any tips? I mean, if you're going to run social media, you're going to have to deal with those kind of people.
Man, there are a bunch of internet trolls out there. Just ignore them, block it out, and do your thing.
Just blocking out the haters.
Is it ever worth engaging them?
Oh, absolutely not. Because they're going to keep coming back at you with
something else.
Yeah, exactly. It's not worth your time.
So where is home?
Kendallville, Indiana.
And are you looking to stay in the area, or are you going to try to go anywhere, wherever this happens to take you?
I am totally down for relocation, but I've come accustomed to the Midwest life. Things just move a little slower up here. I'm perfectly okay with that. But for my major and for what I want to do with that, I understand I need to get to a bigger city, bigger than like a Fort Wayne or Toledo. But those are also really good stepping stones to get to my ultimate goal of being in a big city.
Yeah, at least you can understand that you have to start smaller.
Absolutely.
And work your way up. I think we're going to graduate a wonderful student here in Alex.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Let's do the Silly Six.
I was about to say, Ryan, we should do the Silly Six.
Wow, we're on the same wavelength.
Wow.
Are you familiar with the Silly Six, Alex?
I am.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
For those who aren't. What did you say? I missed.
You said unfortunately.
Well, then I'm not even. Let's just get right to it. Your favorite pop or beverage?
Root beer.
Brand?
What's the one with the bulldog? The mugs?
Mugs.
Yeah, mugs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mugs.
Yep.
Well, we didn't get mugs yet. Your favorite fast food?
Subway.
Your favorite show?
Man, I love Family Guy.
You come across as a How I Met Your Mother type person.
I've gone through that once. I can't quote it like my roommate Tom Wanker. He's seen it about 6 or 7 times. But quality show, very relatable.
Your hobby.
My hobby, video making.
Your favorite dessert.
Oh man, I really like strawberry shortcake.
As in the ice cream or as in the actual strawberry shortcake?
Like the actual strawberry shortcake with the angel food cake, the fresh strawberries, and the whipped cream.
Oh, yeah.
It just screams summer.
There's nothing better. And finally, your favorite superhero.
Oh.
Oh, he's thinking.
Iron Man.
Iron Man. All right.
Okay.
Hey, this is The Session with Billy and Ryan. We'll be right back. This is the Session News Break, bringing you all the news that is the news around the DC campus. Come out and help CAB celebrate their graduating seniors on April 26th in the Quad from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can expect to find food, inflatables, a DJ, and, of course, fun. The spring semester is quickly coming to a close, which means it's time for the late-night breakfast again. The breakfast will be on April 26th from 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. It's going to be in the Sarek Dining Hall. If you would like to volunteer to help serve breakfast or cook pancakes, please respond to Lisa Marzalak by April 16th. This is the Session News Break. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Session with Billy and Ryan. Hey, we are going to be doing our Millennial Mind segment. Jake is going to be taking over for this segment. He found a couple pieces to talk about. So, Jake, why don't you take the ropes and get this thing going?
All right. Well, the first thing we got today is the Supreme Court nominee that Donald Trump nominated, Neil Gorsuch, is having some trouble in the Senate right now getting his votes that he needs to be approved. Now, the Republicans hold 52 seats in the Senate out of 100 because every state gets 2 senators.
Mm-hmm.
You need at least 60 to be confirmed. Now,
Okay.
that would mean that all the Republicans and then also 8 Democrats would have to approve. Well, that being said, not many of the Democrats are in support of this nominee, so
Right.
they're what's called a filibuster. They're just keep talking to try to delay this whole ordeal.
Okay.
But what the Democrats did in the past with a couple of Obama's nominees may now come into play with one of Trump's nominees, and it's called a nuclear option that has nothing to do with nuclear bombs, no weapons, no nothing like that. It simply means that they can, I don't remember the article it is, but you only have to get 51 votes. It's just a simple majority, and then that can be approved. So they're thinking about that because if they really like Neil Gorsuch, then 51 votes would do it, and with the Republicans having 52 seats in the Senate,
they kind of have a
that
little
can
more.
pass,
Right. So, with that being said, do you think this will happen? This nuclear option?
If it comes down to it, I'm not quite sure. I haven't read into a whole lot about the nuclear option itself, but from what I know about Neil Gorsuch, he was a circuit judge, and he was unanimously approved for that position. So now that he's coming on the Supreme Court nomination, I didn't think it would be that much of a. I thought it was a good choice because I figured he would get approved fairly quickly because in the past he had been unanimously approved for the Court of Appeals. So I thought it would be good, but apparently they're just opposing everything.
Well, that's kind of like how everything's been going so far. Is everything's kind of just on hold,
Right.
Which is kind of a bummer, because you kind of want to see what Trump will do, but when everything's kind of everything gets on hold, you can't really do anything about that.
He's not really getting a chance.
Right, exactly. And then with the U.S., I mean, it's this whole debacle of Trump speaking out of things in the past and everything like that. And, we can't really give this guy a chance when there's nothing we can do at the moment, when everything's on hold. So it's tough to see this happen. And, whether you're a Trump supporter or not, at the end of the day, we're trying to make we're trying to make America great again, whether you like it or not.
What's your guys' view on partisan politics? Do you think it's worse than it's ever been, or on par with it's been for years? As millennials, millennial man.
I think it's kind of getting worse, to tell you the
Okay.
truth. I feel like more people are speaking out on their views of things, and I feel like there's more, I guess, debate of going on whether or not this is happening or not. I mean, it's what? How do you feel about this, Jake?
Well,
Being a huge politician and everything, 2032. Remember that, Jake Adkins, people, youngest president.
being a millennial, this is kind of the first time we've really had a chance to voice our opinions. Now, you may have been able to vote Romney versus Obama,
Mm-hmm.
but this is the first chance that we've really got to experience the election, especially being in college.
Sure.
We have more freedoms than we would in high school.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely gotten worse, but it's the cliche saying of it has to get worse before it can get better, and I think there's so much room for growth if both parties can basically, I don't want to say suck it up, but
Just put their
come
differences
together,
aside.
put their differences aside and come together to truly make America better than what it ever has been before.
Right.
Alex, I have a question for you from the social media side. Do you think social media is playing an impact on the partisan politics? Meaning, social media gives somebody a chance to say whatever they want, whenever they want, and their opinion is of uber importance, especially to them. Do you think social media has an impact on that?
Oh, absolutely. Social media, just like you said, allows anybody to say what they want, when they want it, and it just gives you the freedom, your freedom of speech to really get your voice out there.
Yeah, it's one thing to have freedom of speech, which of course is important, and the United States is built on that. But it's one thing to say I've said something or I've written something, and so therefore it is true, absolute.
Right.
I am not willing to hear, like, if Jake and I disagree in the current system, I can say what I want. Jake's wrong no matter what he says. And Jake will say what he wants, and I'm wrong no matter what I say.
Right.
And really the truth, like in any story, is somewhere in the middle.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Should we go on to our next topic?
I think we should stay kind of in the political realm, and
Okay.
then we'll lighten it up at the end a little
Okay.
bit.
I'm cool with that.
We're talking about crossing party lines and truly coming together. And just recently, the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals in Chicago, they ruled on the 1964 Civil Rights Act, and they ruled that would include the LGBT community, which is a huge step
Yeah.
in coming across party lines and making sure everybody feels like they can be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
That Civil Rights Act basically prohibits an employer from discriminating based on race, sex, ethnicity, all of that. So now that the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals has now ruled that includes protection for the LGBT community.
Yes, sex used to just mean male or female, but now
Yes.
they said sex is all gender.
Right.
There you go.
Well, I think that's a huge step in bringing this country together. Was involving the LGBT community with that act. Especially here on campus, we're very big in the LGBT community. We have an organization here. So hearing that and seeing what a small school has been able to give for the community, I think that will definitely really bring everyone together, like you were saying.
I definitely agree with that, and that's the biggest thing now with how split everything is doing whatever we can to bring everyone together to make the whole nation better, not just for certain people.
Yep,
It's a big first step. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, last topic, what was it? The national championship.
Yeah, we'll lighten it up a little bit for you guys.
Yeah. And I think
we'll
we
talk
can
about the national championship. A little bit.
We'll get Alex Frick here involved with that because I know how big of a college basketball fan he is. So we'll get his input on what he thought with the national championship. Alex, you had UNC and Gonzaga or Gonzaga. I don't know how you guys want to pronounce it these days. But what was your take on the national championship? How did you think the game went?
The game had no flow to it, I felt like. the first half, you know, I mean, I guess the first half had better flow, but the second half was it like both teams are in the double bonus by like the 12-minute mark.
Yeah,
and it's,
Fouls everywhere.
yeah.
we were watching, and I look over to Cody Wiggins, and I'm just like, this last 12 minutes is going to take like 3 hours because every foul, every time somebody gets, you know, breathed on wrong or looked at the wrong way, they're going to call a foul,
Yeah, it was
and
ridiculous.
it's going to take forever. And
Yeah, and towards the end of the game, you started to notice that the refs were not letting the boys play, is what LeBron was saying.
Right.
If anyone saw his Twitter account on Monday night, he went on saying that he's not even going to watch the rest of this game because just how the refs are playing. And the next, you know, about 20 minutes later, he tweeted back out, "I'm going to watch the game for the boys. I'm going to watch the game for them."
the kids deserve this.
The kids deserve this, so I'm going to watch it for them. Well, thank you, LeBron, for watching the game. We really appreciate it.
One more viewer.
Right, yeah, exactly. You know, when it came down towards the end, there's always going to be that one call. And I think it was when they had what was it? They were trying to get the ball towards the end of the line, and one of the UNC players had his hand out of bounds. And what do you guys view on that? Should the refs had reviewed that, or kind of just let it play out?
Well, obviously refs are going to make mistakes. You know, if your team loses, there's always the refs to, you know, point your fingers at. I think that they should have at least looked at it because, one, it was a jump ball, so it was a dead ball.
Yeah.
You had an opportunity for teams to sub in and out, and the refs would have had a chance to go look at the monitor. But like I said, at the same time, you know, the refs made a decision and they stuck with it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The one thing I wish that the NCAA will take more of a look at is reviewing calls and reviewing plays. I feel like they can make a certain call and they'll stick with it, and you know you'll get a huge debacle about it. And then sometimes they'll go and review something, and you're like, why? Why did you review that? But you know that's sports for you, and that's how it's going to be all the time. So,
Exactly.
Thank you again, Alex, for coming in and talking with us about communications and also being on Millennial Minds. We really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure. I had a great time.
Hey, this is Session. We'll be right back.
This is Gabriel Marquez, with the president of Tall Cap Epsilon, and you're listening to The Session.
Hey, this is Nate Hicks, and you're listening to The Session.
Welcome back to The Session with Billy and Ryan.
Wow, that sounds good.
Sounds like music to my ears.
Oh, look at that. Music, choir. Jake is just man of many talents here on The Session.
I just stumbled right into that one.
Hey, thank you again for joining us for
You're
our
welcome,
podcast. Yeah, you too, Ryan.
Oh, thanks.
Jake, you want to tell our viewer and I guess viewers now that Alex Frick is listening to our podcast.
Okay. All right.
You want to tell them how they can get a hold of us?
They can find us on Facebook by searching The Session DC. They can email us at thesession@defiance.edu, or they can follow us on Twitter at @thesession_DC.
Well, Ryan, do you think we should wrap up the show now?
We probably should. The shows are getting longer.
Oh, yeah.
He's Billy. I'm Ryan. See ya.
See ya.